Textile Industry Team 2.
Hi, my name is Fernanda, and welcome to our final presentation. In this project, we are going to analyze the same problem using 5 strategic tools. First of all, we have the Porter's 5 forces, then the Porter's diamond model, the gauge framework, the Pestel-Wicklund analysis, and then the competitive profile matrix, which is CPM. Based on this analysis, we are going to evaluate the textile industry in Mexico and globally, identifying key opportunities and answer our main question. If we were to launch a Mexican company today, which country and which product or service will be the best choice? Finally, we proposed a startup called Ecotex MX, focused on sustainability, automatization, and nearshoring. Competition in textile industry is very intense. There are thousands of companies worldwide, from fiber producers to huge global brands like Inditex and H&M. They compete on price, speed, innovation, sustainability, and design. Fast fashion creates constant pressures because trends change quickly. Suppliers include cotton and wool producers, synthetic fiber companies, dye and chemical suppliers, and machinery manufacturers. When natural fiber depends on climate, prices rise, and suppliers gain power. Synthetic fibers are more standardized, so the power there is lower. Big brands can negotiate lower prices because they can buy in large volumes. Buyers can be fashion brands or final consumers. They have many options and can easily switch to another supplier. Big brands pressure manufacturers to lower costs and shorten delivery times. Consumers also demand sustainability and transparency in all the processes that the company have. Small workshops can enter the market easily with lower investment, and technology has reduced startups' costs. However, entering at the industrial scale requires larger investments, certifications, and compliance with environmental and labor standards. Substitutes include not only different fabrics but also change in consumer behaviors. For example, include recycled textile, biotextiles, plant-based leather, 3D printed materials, second-hand clothing, and smart or biodegradable fabrics.
Hello, my name is Ronaldo, and today I will present an analysis of Mexico's textile industry using Porter's diamond model. This framework helps us understand why an industry becomes competitive internationally and which factors contribute to its strengths or weaknesses. In this case, the goal is to determine whether the textile industry represents a real export opportunity for Mexico, especially now that nearshoring and global supply chain shifts are changing the competitive landscape. So, the factory conditions. The first element of the model is factory conditions. Mexico has a large and experienced workforce in the textile sector, although most companies are micro and small business. Recently, many firms have started adopting modern technology, digital machinery, and automation and more efficient production processes, which improves productivity. And another advantage is Mexico's strategic location next to the United States, making logistics faster and cheaper. However, the industry still depends heavily on imported inputs, and the volatility of raw material prices, especially synthetic fibers derived from petroleum, continues to be a challenge. And then for the demand conditions, the second element is demand condition. In Mexico, domestic demand has increased due to urbanization and a large middle class consumer base. But the real driver is the United States. For more than 20 years, between 88% and 89% of Mexico's textile exports have gone directly to the US market. This means Mexican producers serve a highly demanding consumer base that values quality, speed, and compliance with standards. While this creates pressure, it also represents a strong opportunity for Mexico to position itself as a reliable supplier for North America. And for related and supporting industries, the third element is the analysis. So Mexico's textile industry is closely linked to the other major sectors, including the automotive, medical, tourism, aerospace, and construction industries. These sectors require specialized technical textiles such as composite materials, uniforms, filters, and interior components. There are also national suppliers of fibers, chemicals, and machinery, and Mexico has started implementing recycling and circular economy practices. Although some technologies still rely on imports, this network of supporting industries strengthens Mexico's capacity to produce diversified and higher value textile products. And finally, the firm strategy structure and revolver. Most textile companies in Mexico are small businesses, which creates intense competition mainly based on cost. Additionally, the industry faces strong pressure from low-priced imports from Asia. As a response, many Mexican companies are turning to modernization, sustainability, and greater specialization. Others are integrating into higher value sectors such as the automotive and tourism industries, which demand more technical and better priced textile products. And to conclude, Porter's Diamond model shows that Mexico does have important strengths that could help it compete internationally in the textile industry, such as its workforce, strong demand conditions, supporting industries, and proximity to the US market. However, continued investment and technological adoption are still necessary to overcome the challenges posed by Asian competitors. If Mexico fully leverages nearshoring and strengthens its supply chains, the textile industry could become a real opportunity to expand exports and position the country as a more competitive global player. Thank you.
My name is Fernando, and I will explain the CAGE framework by comparing Mexico with the US, Asia, and Europe. Number one, cultural. Mexico has strong cultural ties with the US, similar consumer habits, fashion, and entertainment. There is more cultural alignment than with Asia or the Middle East. Number two, administrative. The USMCA reduces tariffs, supports exports, and requires clear rules of origin with Asia. There are no equivalent agreements. Number three, geographic. Mexico to US from 1 to 3 days. Asia to US from 20 to 45 days. And fast fashion, this difference is critical. Number four, economic. Mexico is more expensive than Bangladesh and Vietnam, but more competitive than Europe. Shorter logistics time help offset the higher cost. Cage conclusion: Mexico has clear strategic advantage for serving the North America market, where speed and sustainability are essential.
Hello, my name is Tade, and this presentation I will explain the competitive profile matrix, the CPM, which compares Mexico with 3 competitors in the global textile industry. These competitors is China, Bangladesh, and Vietnam. First, we have the introduction. For this analysis, I select 7 essential criteria that determine international competitiveness in the textile sector. This was labor cost, technology and automation, availability of raw materials, logistic, sustainability, production quality, and proximity to major markets, especially the United States. These factors allow me to objectively assess the strengths and the weakness of each country. In the CPM results, China scores the highest in technology, machinery, and production scale. This maintains a competitive advantage about his massive production capacity and a high efficiency. However, China also shows important weakness that was high environmental impact, lower shipping times to Americas, and global concern to labor practices. Meanwhile, Bangladesh stands mainly from extremely low labor costs, which give a strong competitive edge in volume and basic a lot of production. But the weakness in Bangladesh reduced this competitiveness that was low technological adaptation, frequently labor and safety issues, and limited trackability and sustainability. And for final, we have Vietnam in about these three countries. Vietnam is a growing player thanks to a trade that have with the United States and the European and Europe. These have a strong balance between cost and quality and technology. However, it still does not reach China production scale at all, which affects the overall. Finally, Mexico. In my analysis, Mexico shows very clear strengths that can be leveraged strategy. The strengths we have the geographic. We are really close to the United States. The logistic times was 3 to 5 times than the Asia. Strong garment quality and a growing user trend. The weakness is the high labor cost compared to Asia, the lack of technological modernization in the textile chain, and industry fragmented into small micro businesses without an economic scale. And finally, we have the overall CPM conclusion. After comparing the scores, I reached a key conclusion. Mexico cannot compete with Asia on price, but can compete with the speed, quality, and sustainability that have to the United States. And this is where I identified a major opportunity for creating a new business, focusing not on competing by cost, but by differentiation, fast response times, and high-value products aligned with the needs of the US market. This conclusion becomes that the foundation for the common T idea it will introduce next.
Hi, my name is Mikeli, and in my part, I will explain the Big Long Pestle analysis, which help us compare the overall business environment of different countries. This tool is important for the textile industry because it shows how political stability, economic strength and social conditions, technology, environmental performance, and legal certainty create opportunities or risk for companies what wants to operate or export. For this analysis, I used 5 countries. I worked with the 5 countries that appear consistently in textile production and global trade: the United States, China, India, Mexico, and Turkey. These countries represent the main competitors and reference points mentioned in the case, so they are ideal for evaluating Mexico's position. Now, on the method to compare the countries, I used the official database from the Big Long model. I selected the indicators that are most relevant for the textile sector and assigned a weight to each factor based on this importance. For example, in political, corruption and government effectiveness have in fibers, machinery, and technical textiles. In environmental, I used clean energy and emissions matter because global buyers demand sustainability. And in legal, the rule of law is fundamental because the industry depends on reliable contracts, credit access, and clear enforcement. After applying the formulas, every indicator is transformed into a 0 to 10 scale, and the weight results give a final score for each country. In the political dimensions, the country with the strongest performance is the United States. It shows how high government effectiveness, low corruption, strong transparency, and good access to public information. This condition reduces uncertainty for textile investors and allow companies to operate with predictable rules. China and Turkey are in the middle. They offer stability in some areas, but they also have weaknesses in press freedom and transparency. Mexico and India have the lowest political scores. This matches with the situation described in the case where Mexico faces problems such as informal imports, unfair competition, and regulatory weaknesses. These issues increase the risk for the textile companies and limit incentives for investment. Now, in the economic dimensions, the United States again has the strongest score. It has productivity per worker really high, controlled inflation, and stable economic performance, which supports advanced and high-quality textile production. China follows thanks to strong growth and competitive productivity. Turkey and Mexico show moderate performance, while India is last because of lower productivity and higher unemployment. This comparison explains why countries like China and the United States attract larger and more technological advanced textile operations, while Mexico competes mainly in specific segments and relies heavily on the US market, as the case mentions. In the social dimension, the United States keeps the lead because of a stronger education, better access to services, and more stable health conditions. China, Mexico, and Turkey show medium results. They have larger workforces, but they face inequality and educational changes, and really difficult challenges in this area. India has the lowest social score. This affects its stability to transition from low-cost production to higher-value technological textiles, which transforms into a risk. These results matter because textile companies require trained workers who can learn new processes, handle machinery, and meet quality standards in global supply chains. In the technological dimension, the highest scores belongs to the United States and China. They both invest heavily in research and development and generate more patents, including innovations in materials and manufacturing technologies. Mexico and Turkey have moderate technological conditions, and they depend significantly on imported machinery and innovations from other countries. India is again in the lowest position. For textile, this dimension is critical because the industry is expanding into new technological fabrics, smart textiles, and also in automated production. Countries with stronger innovation ecosystems have a clear advantage. Now, for the environmental dimensions, Turkey and the United States perform better. They have cleaner energy sources, lower vulnerability to climate risk, and better environmental practices. Mexico, India, and China faces more pressure from pollution, emissions, and climate vulnerability. This dimension is becoming very important for the textile sector because global buyers, especially Europe and North America, demand transparency, lower emissions, and circular economic practice. The case highlights how sustainability is now a driver for competitiveness, so weaknesses in these dimensions can limit export opportunities. Now, in the legal dimension, the United States has a significant advantage. It has a strong protection for creditors, faster bankruptcy procedures, and a very solid rule of law. These conditions make it easier to invest, get financing, and manage business risks. China, Turkey, and Mexico have mixed results. They face challenges in contract enforcement and legal predictability. India has the weakest legal environment, which increases align with the situation described in a case where Mexican producers face unfair competition and limited enforcement of rules, making it harder to become internationally competitive. Now, when we add all of these results up, we get the final ranking, which is United States, then China, then Turkey, Mexico, and finally we have India. This difference between the United States and the rest is very large. This means that from a country environment perspective, the US offers the most favorable conditions for advanced high quality and sustainable textile production. China also remains strong because of its scale, productivity, and technological capacity. Turkey shows a balanced and competitive environment. Mexico has strengths, especially its integration with the US market and its supporting industries, but it also has weaknesses in political, environmental, and legal factors. These weaknesses limit its competitiveness, even though nearshoring creates important opportunities. India ends up in last place because many structural factors reduce its attractiveness for higher value textile export. And you might be asking, this analysis in what is giving us some value? Well, this analysis gives us a clear vision of the business environment that a new Mexican textile company would face. Mexico does have strategic advantages, such as its location and its link with the US market, but the Vigeland results show that it still needs improvement in legal certainty, innovation capacity, environmental performance, and government effectiveness. This conclusion supports our final recommendation about where a Mexican startup should operate and what type of textile products make sense in today's global environment. Thank you, and now we can continue with the integration of these results into our final proposals.
Well, finally, we have the conclusion. Mexico is strategically positioned to lead sustainable textile production in the region. The strategic tools analyzed show that the opportunity lies in innovation, sustainability, and nearshoring. Our startup Ecotech Mex leveraged this advantage to position itself as a competitive, profitable solution aligned with the global demands. Well, thanks for your attention.